I will hereby call the regular Board of Education meeting this August 16, 2022 for the Breakout Trail School District to order at 7 p.m. You could please lead me with, join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And in lieu of an acting secretary, Patty Reyes will call roll.
Camardo,
Here.
Fiorito,
Here.
Friedland, here, Grimpy,
Here.
Johnson, here, Ronstadt.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Fantastic. Next up is a consent agenda. The consent agenda is presented. Does any board member wish to discuss or pull any item at this time? Hearing nothing, I hereby entertain a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as presented in its entirety. So, moved by Fiorito,
Second.
second by Johnson.
Friedland. Yes. Camardo.
Yes.
Johnson. Yes. Ronstadt.
Yes.
Fiorito.
Yes.
Grimpy.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, we are rolling along here. RTEA comments. Anyone from the RTEA wish to address? Hello, how are you?
Hi, I'll do my best to impersonate Bob. I would like to, on behalf of the RTA, thank Dr. Meggerly, all of the administration and the board for all their hard work over the summer and helping us get geared up for a great school year. I think the sentiment among all of our staff is that we're so ready to come back, more ready than the past few years. So we appreciate all of your hard work and look forward to an awesome year.
Awesome, thank you. Thank you. Visitors' comments. At this time, I'd like to recognize any members of the audience who approach the board with their comment or question by completing the visitor comment card. Please do note that the Board of Administration typically does not respond, and if you are wishing for a response, please provide your name, a number, or email address for a member of the board or administration to get back to you. There is a second opportunity for visitors' comments later on in the meeting. Speakers are encouraged to limit their time for others to participate, a 5-minute time limit per speaker with a 20-minute minimum length on one topic and an overall 30-minute minimum for visitor comments. After that time, the board can move all further comments to the second session or continue comments and establish an ending time. Having no comments?
The man that was here said he did want to make a comment, but he could probably wait till the second one.
Okay.
Because he's not here.
Okay, board communications. This is an open agenda for any board member wishing to offer anything to the floor. I've got two, well actually I've got three. First off, I met with the presidents of District 57 and 59 just to kind of introduce ourselves to each other and just develop an ongoing relationship so that we're actually going to try to do it once a month and just kind of bounce ideas off of each other and hey, you know, what issues are you dealing with? What issues are we dealing with? You know, and obviously nothing's being decided upon, but it's an opportunity for us to vent, to you know, to just get together and try to have a little more stronger relationship. So that was nice. I also was invited and took part in the Mount Prospect Citizen Summit last week at Village Hall, and it was a very interesting experience. It has its pluses and minuses, which I'll be happy to go in detail individually if you have any questions, but it's certainly part of their action plan going forward. So it was nice to be part of it, and hope to get invites going forward. I also have, we'd like to represent or recognize Dr. Stolzer for her time on the board. If you can come on up if you don't mind. Yeah. Okay, so the Breakout Trail School District 26 Board of Education would like to recognize Dr. Susan Stolzer for 6 years of service as a member of the River Trail School District 26 Board of Education. Your leadership is evidenced by your participation on the Board of Education Committee's policy, finance, wellness, and curriculum. Your accomplishments also include representing the board at the IASB Delegate Assembly, attending NSSEO meetings, and as acting board secretary. The board acknowledges and expresses its deep appreciation for your commitment and dedication on behalf of public education. We got your name plates if you would. Those as well. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate all your help.
Thanks.
Thanks, Deborah.
Feel good to leave the board in such good hands.
Well, ours.
Your hands anyway, so.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Good to see you, Greg. Okay, does anybody else have anything they would like to add this time?
I did a walkthrough at River Trails Middle School yesterday, and besides the parking lot, I gotta say, the building looks fantastic, and excited to see a full kit.
Did you walk through with Eleanor to check out her
Yeah,
locker and all that?
yeah.
How'd it go?
It was good.
Was it? It was awesome.
Yes,
Yeah, it's a great experience. And Kyle and Mary Crawlton did a great job.
I heard rave reviews on Mary and what she did for organizing, accommodating, schedules. I wish she was here so I could tell her to her face, but I will eventually. I'll pass it along. I heard great things from other people to my wife, to me. I said, yeah, sure. I knew that was gonna be the case.
No, it's a well-oiled machine. When we were there,
Yeah.
we went out in no time. They made the mistake of putting our daughters by each other, but they'll learn that in due time. That's fine. Anybody else? Okay, next up is our board member resignation and appointment of board secretary. This is an action item. As I mentioned earlier, that Donna Johnson expressed interest in becoming acting board secretary. So just, do we need a motion? I need a motion, a second, to appoint Donna Johnson as board secretary until our reorganization meeting, which will be held on May 2nd, 2023.
So
So,
Moved by Fiorito, second by Camardo. And does anybody have any comments or questions, or?
good luck.
oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
It could have been you guys.
I was just
Okay.
thinking the same thing.
I know.
But I do agree with them. Well, thank you for stepping up. That I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
So if we can have roll, we can officially appoint Donna as our secretary.
Camardo,
Yes.
Friedland,
Yes.
Grimpy,
Yes.
Ronstadt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Fiorito.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right. Congratulations, Mrs. Johnson.
Thank you.
Then just to make it official for anyone who's watching at home, so the replacement for Dr. Stolzer's replacement her resignation was effective on August 2nd, so that gives the board 60 days to seat a new member, which gives us till October 1st. We posted the opening for applicants on August 3rd, and that will run until September 2nd. And our goal is to have interviews the week of the 12th. So I know Mr. Fiorito had a couple conflicts that week, but and obviously we don't know how many days it will take, because we don't know how many applicants we'll have. Obviously, we want to try to do it, throughout the course of one evening. But
I have a lot of problems. The only day I'm in town is Thursday.
Sorry. On the 15th. And Frank, what was you had two.
12th and the 15th.
12th and the 15th.
Those are good or bad?
Bad.
Bad. Okay, can we move it to the week of the 19th? Preferably early, so we're not pushing. October 1st is when we have to have the person in by.
And what time of day do you need?
Yes, we have a board meeting on the 20th, so we would seat the person on the 20th, so that's a really tight timeline.
Has to be the 19th.
we have to be seated by October first, and our next, we don't have another meeting after the 20th until after that deadline.
You can always call a special meeting if you wish to seek a board member after the 20th. But mine has to be seated by the first.
Right.
Or you could call a special, you know, we could have a meeting on a Saturday.
Just to seat them.
No, to interview if we want to.
Oh, sure, yeah, it doesn't, correct, it doesn't have to be a weeknight,
Right.
that's true. What does the 17th look like for everybody?
I'm good.
I'm still on top. The week of the 19th, for me personally, is good. I'm available, but I do understand that there is a special meeting then.
Good except on Friday,
Which Friday?
the 23rd.
I'm good on the 19th. It's a Monday.
Right, the issue is if we have enough applicants and we have to do it multiple nights, we won't,
Yeah.
I mean, we'll have to squeeze it in, all of them on the 19th.
I don't find feeling it's gonna be a big deal.
It is a big if, I understand, but I wanna plan for it, I'd rather plan for it than be surprised at the last second. I mean, we'll know.
Do all of us need to be there to interview?
Yeah. You said you're good on the 15th?
15th I'm available, yes.
Okay, I can do the 15th after 7 o'clock.
Okay. Is 15th good for you, after 7 o'clock? Thursday the 15th.
Then if we need a second night, and
Then you have the 19th. Then you have the 19th.
Yeah, if we need a second night, we'll have to roll over to the 19th, so. Janine, how's that working for you? I know you're remote.
I'm good for the 15th and the 19th. The end of the next week gets a little sketchy for me because I will be out of town. Starting on the 23rd.
So let's plan on night number 1 would be the 15th, and then night number 2 would be the 19th.
but after 7 on the 15th, correct?
So is that gonna be fine?
Are there any time constraints on the 19th for anybody? I mean, I gotta work till 5, so I'd be looking at 6 o'clock at the earliest if we need to.
Yeah, I can make whatever.
Okay.
Preferably after 6.
Okay, well, we could 19th after 7 as well. So 15th and the 19th after 7, please keep those nights open, and we will do that for interviews. We also have a tentative operations committee meeting on the 14th.
Yeah, we're the one we were just talking about.
Okay, great. And then please take a look or think about if you need the list, we can always make a copy of it, but obviously we have, Dr. Stolzer's committee assignments, which we'll have to replace. We had the luxury of waiting to see Lewis until our reorganization meeting, because it was so close. We don't have that luxury this time, so we'll have to start thinking about either, depending on who it is, putting them into either Sue's spots, or we could completely shuffle it around, depending on what their areas of expertise are, what they're bringing to the table, whoever that person is.
I would assume that would happen here.
Oh, yeah, it would just happen at a board meeting.
Yeah, I know, but physically.
Physically here.
Yes. We would probably do it the same night that we seat them. So that's the plan. Okay? All right, district recognition. This is Patty Reyes.
I'm gonna ask Patty to come up, I'm gonna scooch over here so they have to stand alone. Come on. For doing my work. Careful. She just tried to make it so she didn't have to. Ben has a Zoom in. Yeah. Okay, so, very pleased to be honoring Patty Reyes this evening.
once it was decided as a team that we wanted to recognize Patty, I knew I needed to put together a stealthy plan because I knew she was going to refuse. So she kept emailing me, asking who to put on the agenda, so I kept ignoring her because I knew I had to get her face to face to really talk her into doing this tonight. So even then, she said no so fast that I couldn't even get my sentence out. But eventually I was able to persuade her. So we have all said thank you to Patty so many times for so many things that I felt that she truly deserves a distinct recognition, a true thank you from all of us here in the district. So when I asked others to share how Patty has impacted their work, I had lots of responses. So many strengths to highlight, but I narrowed it down to a few. Okay, first, Patty is very foresighted. Each and every day, she anticipates the needs of others. She takes initiative, she follows through on everything. She researches for us, she provides insight, and she's solution-oriented. The skill is a tremendous asset to us as a team because it helps us see different angles, it helps us be thoughtful and thorough and focused in our work. She helps us deliver our best. So I would give the example of the meet and greet a few weeks ago. I come to Patty and say, hey, how about a magnet or something cute we can give the families? She spends 10 minutes with Ben, and they've got coloring books, they've got crayons, there's a gift basket for families. What they put together was, so many small details, but it really represented our district. It made us look sharp, it welcomed the parents, it was 100%, it was just beautiful. So that is what she does for us each and every day. Next, Patty cares about others. Just about everyone said that she is always willing to drop her 100 plates and do something to help everyone else. It was noted that her talents really shine through when she's helping others. She makes the district office welcoming, she makes it filled with love, and she makes it feel like home for all of us. It doesn't even matter what the task is, Patty is right there to get it done. Planting flowers, pulling weeds, putting together a bench, whatever we need, she will get in there and get it done. So finally, a few words that people use to represent what we are thankful for. Patty's positivity, her smile, her laughter, her ability to make situations light, which we need a lot of time, her patience, her kindness, her positive attitude, and I could go on, but I'll stop. So I'll wrap it up by sharing something that Nancy Wagner had shared that really just said it best. Not everyone sees what Patty does, which makes her a true hidden gem, making all those around her look good. So thank you for all you do for us.
Certificate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So much.
Appreciate it. And we will take a 5-minute break. We've got some goodies. So everyone please enjoy. Visit with our
Take some
superstar.
pictures.
Absolutely.
Take pictures.
want me to stop by your house and bring it?
Last thing I need help with.
Congratulations. Thank you. We have to bring, let's see, 3, 4, 5 to
Or if you want a real show, just bring one and put it in the backyard.
So if you had a, there'll be another comment section at the end of
Alright,
it.
is everybody ready to get back to
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Finford.
So we are up to new business, education services, the new staff 2022-2023 presentation. I can't talk.
We got a few pictures at the 11th hour, it looks like. Thanks, Patty. This is gonna be very brief, everyone, but we did wanna take an opportunity to introduce you to our new staff members. We did allow them to not come this evening, seeing as they are getting ready to welcome all the kids tomorrow. But this is a very quick picture of 22 of our new staff. We're actually welcoming 43 new staff into our district over the course of the last couple of weeks up till tomorrow when we officially open the doors. So we are growing by leaps and bounds. I'm going to give you some information and then we'll just scroll through some of the names. I'm not going to read them all aloud to you, but you might see one or two that you recognize. So over the course of the last several weeks, starting on August 5th, we started our 3 days of professional learning, growing and connecting with our new staff members. Our contract sets our time frames for this. So seeing that in that first picture you saw we only had 22 staff present, that's because many of our staff had still not yet been hired. So over the course of the last week especially, Melissa and Matt have been extremely busy doing the last minute onboarding to make sure that we have everybody here tomorrow when we welcome our kiddos back. But this opportunity is really to give our the timeline is really to give our teachers time to be in their classrooms as they prepare to kick off the school year after receiving some formal training. So this is a cumulative project of many who work together in order to make new staff orientation happen. Technology department, human resources department, education department, special education department. We all begin this planning as early as March when Lyndall releases the first draft of the staffing plan, and this work continues through the summer. So Patty's scrolling through here some of our names and photos. You will see some familiar faces in some of these pictures of teachers who maybe are moving buildings. We've had several people such as Mrs. Stratton in this picture here who moved from River Trails over to Indian Grove and some of our other buildings as well. Last but not least, our middle school new staff that is there. We do have several new names and faces in the district office if you haven't had an opportunity to meet everybody. Deb Pitts has joined Matt's team as our data specialist. Deb has done a phenomenal job getting our systems up and running, so hopefully we kick off very smooth tomorrow. Carrie, of course, you all met last month, and as she was welcomed in June. Jan, who is our payroll person, and Kelly Diaz, who's kicking off her first day tomorrow in her official capacity as our food service director. Kelly's been working very hard this summer to get us ready to go, and I'm sure it's going to be a wonderful opportunity for our district. We have several goals that we set when we began sitting down to plan for new teacher orientation, new staff orientation. I've highlighted some of those things in bold. Our number one goal is to build relationships between our new staff amongst each other and amongst those people that they're going to be their mentors, their administrators. We also want them to know what drives our work, what's the district vision, district strategic objectives, our goals. Catch everyone up in terms of our journey with equity and give them the tools and resources they need in order to be successful. So you can see some of the topics on the left-hand side there that we cover over the course of the first 2 days. And Nat is going to spend some time in just a minute talking about our third day of orientation, which is our Innovation Symposium. So what's next for our new staff? We have a 2-year mentoring program that is supported by our Board of Education, as well as some of our title grants that help fund it. In our year 1 mentoring program, our mentees, our new staff, has weekly meetings with their mentor. They have mentor observations. They set specific goals. They do self-reflections. They have monthly meetings with myself, with Carrie, and with our mentor coordinator, Mrs. Mary Plessis. We do 30 and 90-day check-ins to make sure that they're doing okay, have everything that they need, and of course they have their formal evaluation cycles with their school administration. In our year 2 mentorship program, they still meet bi-monthly with their mentors. They continue with mentor observations or optional coaching cycles. They have monthly meetings. We have monthly meetings with them as well on different topics. We participate in a peer book study,
and of course, they continue in their formal evaluation cycle. So we do all of this with the intention of recruiting and maintaining the highest quality staff that we possibly can to serve the students of District 26.
So with the mentor program, do we have enough volunteers this year
For mentors,
for mentors? Because I know that was an issue that was brought up where we seem to have a subset of teachers and staff that were just outstanding mentors,
yeah.
and it seems like a lot of the newer staff members were gravitating to them more than they would be maybe people who were just not as interested in the position. And I know one of the things we wanted to make sure we got done was to spread it out where nobody was overwhelmed with having.
Yeah, with having multiple or several mentors.
Yeah.
We are doing really well. We had some great interest from our teaching staff this year. Going into the year, we surveyed everyone who was interested. We do have some very strict requirements in terms of who we are asking to be mentors. So we reach out to that group. We want people to be in great standing in terms of their evaluations. We do like the staff to be tenured if possible because it means they have more history and knowledge and practices of the district. We struggled in a few of our positions where we have a smaller staff pool to pull from, such as some of our specialized special ed,
Sure.
speech language pathologists, social workers, things like that, that we've had a lot of turnover and we've had a lot of maternity leaves, which has been a little bit tricky to fill, but we're in really good shape. We did hire one external mentor this year, Miss Ann Hoekstra. She worked last year for NSSEO, and she served in the capacity of a mentor to one of our school psychologists. She worked here to support our school psychologist position. We have hired her on as an official mentor for the new psychologist here this year. So we had to get a little creative there, but overall, we were able to staff it. So with that, if you don't have any other questions, I think I'm passing off to Matt to just give a very brief kind of showcase of our Innovation Symposium, which was our third day of our new teacher orientation.
Thanks, Christy. So this year, our theme was Back to the Future, and it's kind of a play on words, going back to pre-COVID times, but also looking forward to the future and all the great things that we have to hold, and we definitely used the movie and some of those things in the day. So we met here at Prairie Trails. It was last Tuesday, which is hard to believe. It seems like it's been longer. We had 75 staff members plus here, which was great. I thought that was a great turnout, especially considering that it was before school. And it was in-person, hands-on professional development for our staff, focused on innovation, focused on infusing technology, and we really leveraged some of the tools like Nearpod throughout the day through our presentations, and it lasted for about 4 hours. So we started with a Nearpod activity to kind of warm things up and engage them in some different activities. It was a great time for them to be able to kind of share some opportunities from their favorite times of the summer, also some learning goals they had for the day, and it really allowed them to kind of see this tool Nearpod and how it can be incorporated into their classroom with their students. I think a lot of them walked away with ideas of how they can incorporate some of the activities we did into the first days of school. We then went into the keynote with Dr. Megerly, and she delivered a keynote focused on the term innovation and really referenced the Back to the Future theme. Some of her key takeaways was innovation, it's for everyone, no matter the age, no matter your background or your level of intelligence. Don't look at where things are, but really focus on what's ahead. Innovation doesn't mean creating something from the ground up, and don't be afraid to fail. So it's really important, like that iteration, learning from what you're doing and getting better at it. So I thought that she really helped kick off some of the theme as we went into the next session. Our next focus was on our breakout sessions. So we had 3 rounds of breakout sessions this year. We had a ton of presenters. So I was really happy with all of the different sessions that we could offer. There's a few that are highlighted here. We had the Home to School Connections, which was a really popular one, focusing on those connections between home and school. Transforming Learning with Class VR, which is a new Class VR set we have. Providing feedback with Book Creator, innovative practices for our multilingual learners, inclusive environments, SAMR reflections, re-embracing your passion for teaching, increasing student collaboration with edu protocols. They did an amazing job linking in their research, the innovation, and then the technology into their sessions. So the teachers really walked away with a lot of different tools and takeaways that they could incorporate into their classroom. And then finally, we ended with a raffle. So I'm gonna give a lot of credit to Christy. She came up with the idea, I helped execute it, but because our theme was Back to the Future, we had decade bags or raffle boxes starting from the 50s all the way to the 2020s. Each raffle basket included a piece of technology that came out at that time, as well as a candy. So it was really good. I feel like we pull a lot of teachers in just for the raffles that we do. So as you can see from this face, she was very excited with what she got. So that was really fun, and it was a great way to end the session. And I just want to thank all of our presenters. So we had a lot of teachers and administrators who presented this year sessions, and I really feel like our teachers take a lot from when our internal people will present. We have so many great things happening in the district, and it's a great opportunity for them to present. And Christy and I have already discussed opportunities for them to present this content again, because the feedback was great, and I think rather than just doing one day, we really need to infuse it throughout the year. And then the planning committee.
So it looks like the planning committee had somebody from every building.
Yeah, and our coaches, who are great.
Yeah, great
So
coaches.
we started planning in the spring, and it was really successful. So
Yeah, your coaches are an all-star lineup there.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. So thanks for the opportunity for letting me share. This was a great start to the year. Any questions?
No, nice presentation.
Thank you.
Both of you, nice job. All right, business services. First up is a cooperative purchasing agreement. That is your.
So we have been using purchasing cooperatives for many years. This is really kind of a housekeeping item, just to update some of our agreements. There's some cooperatives that are now, like a few cooperatives joined into Omnia, our SIPC cooperative, we joined in 2011, but they wanted to be signed the agreement. So just kind of a housekeeping to make sure we've got everything approved here. By using these, we're able to get discounted pricing and greater value. We also save time and taxpayer dollars because we're not having to go out to bid. The government entity that puts together the cooperative purchasing agreement does all of the required bidding, and then they allow other entities to take advantage of those same prices. The ones we mostly use are SIPC, we got into in 2011 for our custodial supplies. Omnia used to be used, it absorbed US Communities and a couple others, but Frank Cooney, we buy all of our furniture from them. School specialty, a lot of school supplies, Granger's, a lot of maintenance supplies. And there are other ones in there too, those are just a couple examples. NIIPC is our food cooperative. It's made up of member districts. They actually run the cooperative. It's currently administered by Oak Park. One of the questions I got was about the board. It is three district food service directors. Sandy Voss from Arlington Heights, used to be Coletta, is one of those. She's the vice president and bid coordinator. Michelin Pekarsky, I'm not sure which district, and Christine Froland are the other officers. We do pay $600 a year to be part of that cooperative, but we have been in it for 15 years. And then NCPA we have used for some things, and buy board is kind of a new one that we wanted to get on board with, so we can take advantage of all of what they have to offer. So the recommendation is that you approve the membership in the purchasing cooperatives, update our memberships and agreements, and allow us to take advantage of the discounted pricing. The ones that list National Cooperative Purchasing Alliance, Schools of Illinois Public Cooperative, Omnia Partners, Buy Board, and Northern Illinois Independent Purchasing Cooperative. And I did run all of their agreements by our attorney at Francis, and he said these are all defensible cooperative purchasing agreements.
All right, then let me entertain a motion in a second to approve membership in the following purchasing cooperatives, which will update our membership and agreements at our River Trail School District 26 to take advantage of discounted pricing. The cooperatives are as follows: National Cooperative Purchasing Alliance, NCPA, Schools of Illinois Public Cooperative, SIPC, Omnia Partners, Buy Board, and Northern Illinois Independent Purchasing Cooperative, NIIPC. So moved. Moved by Camardo. Second by Fiorito. Anybody have any comments or questions before we call roll?
Okay. Johnson, I vote yes. Rosstack,
Yes.
Camardo,
Yes.
Fiorito,
Yes.
Grimpy,
Yes.
Friedland.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Thank you. The TRS SSP resolution, this is an action item, you are still up.
Okay, so the teachers' retirement system launched their supplemental savings plan in January of 2022. It went on, became available March 1st, but now they have a deadline that all boards need to approve it by September 30th. It is a 457B plan, which is a tax-favored retirement savings vehicle, and it's intended to supplement the retirement benefits provided by the TRS defined benefit plan. And I believe the legislator told them we had to do this. I did bring it to you back in the January to March timeframe. At that time, there were a number of issues with the agreement. So Frantic has been the law firm that has been working with TRS to try to eliminate some of our risk, or at least to mitigate it. And they have done that, and they have gotten them to agree to, they amended their agreement as of June. And some of the things that they added, they more precisely define the responsibilities of school district employers to be ministerial instead of fiduciary in nature. They clarify that an employee does not have rights to make claims against employers for the employee's decision to participate or not participate with respect to the selection of fund sponsors or investment options. And they remove the employer responsibility for contribution limit monitoring for those employees who fail to timely report contributions to the 457B plans of other employers. So they feel that TRS has substantially reduced the risk to school district employers for their fiduciary duties and the risk of claims that might be associated with that and adverse investment results. So they are recommending that we move forward with the adoption of the attached resolution. And I know a number of districts that I've talked to are going ahead with it. We do currently offer our own 457B and 403B retirement plans, so this would be in addition to what we offer. We don't have as many in the 457B, but I am recommending that we approve the resolution, and then there's also an employee agreement for any employees that get into the plan that they will make sure they let us know about their contributions.
Okay, can I get a motion and a second to adopt a resolution approving the TRS SSP employer participation agreement? Motion. Okay.
Second.
Motion by Grimpy, second by Ronstadt. Any questions or comments before we take roll? The actual resolution is in the records. It's very lengthy, so instead of putting everybody to sleep, it'll just be part of the record. Okay, we'll call roll, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ronstadt,
Yes.
Johnson, yes. Friedland,
Yes.
Grimpy,
Yes.
Fiorito.
Yes.
Camardo.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Good job.
Thank you. All right, fiscal year 2023 financial update.
Okay, so it appears, the auditors are in this week, but that we ended FY '22 in a very favorable financial condition with a $1 million surplus. We did have on the revenue end, there's about $1.5 million more than we had budgeted. The biggest part was for the corporate personal property replacement tax. It went from $400,000 in FY '20 to $550,000 in FY '21 to $1.2 million in FY '22. So I didn't budget nearly that much. We also received a few grants that we weren't planning on. The Bosch grant, E-rate, some of our E-rate, the state maintenance grant for capital projects, and some additional FEMA money. So all
Do you
of those.
anticipate that to continue going up, and are you adjusting your?
Yeah, you know what, I did just see a new estimate of it that said it was supposed to be around $1 million, so, and that is not in the current budget, but we can look at adding it in, or we can, plan that it will be a nice surprise.
Sure, right. Okay, so as long as you're
Yeah,
shoehorning it in
it's not
at
in the
some point.
tentative budget, because I
Right.
didn't realize it was quite so much at that point in time. On the expenditure side, we had $250,000 of contingencies that we did not spend. You all saw those people that we hired this year. Well, last year we weren't able to hire all of those, so we actually did save quite a bit of money not having the people in place with their benefits. We also actually hired quite a lot of new people last year, and they were cheaper than some of the more experienced personnel that we had, so that made a difference too. Matt has done a wonderful job with technology. We got us an emergency connectivity fund that purchased a lot of the devices that we had planned on spending. And also, I think over the last year or two, with everything that we bought, there were purchases in the budget that weren't needed or that may be delayed. Matt's also been analyzing the software for, what really makes sense academically, so we save some money in that area. We also got free internet service through the ICN. And then on the curriculum end, the math curriculum was delayed, so those materials will be paid for mostly next year instead of this year, which is fine.
We had fewer field trips than budgeted.
And we did have fewer field trips.
32,000.
We did have, yes, and they didn't go, because of COVID, they didn't go on as many field trips till towards the end of the year. And it started to pick up again, so,
Better not see that this year. I got
Yeah.
8th grade.
yeah, I think they'll probably be
She's
back to
expecting
normal.
some field trips. That's
They'll
all
be
I'm
back
saying.
to normal this year.
Just saying, that's all I'm saying.
So that does put us in a good position
Did it?
for all of the construction that we have planned, for the next few years, because those prices are going up.
Sure. Robert's got 6th grade too, so.
Any questions for the financial update for Dr. Schuster?
So for all the line items that are delayed, are they all expected to be purchased in this
Yes.
current fiscal year?
Yes.
Just not
They're- yeah.
another
Yeah,
$200,000?
Pushing it up.
yeah, we added them back to this year.
This is purely operating fund.
Yes, this is just the operating
Okay.
funds, it does not count the capital projects.
Good question. yeah.
Yes,
All right, that brings us to the sale of properties, just an information item. Linda, you are still up.
Okay, so we have a contract to sell, Joseph Academy, for, I think the minimum bid was $2,500,000, and our sale price in this contract is $3,140,000. We're currently, we sold it to Rimland, which is an agency that supports adults diagnosed with autism, and they're planning to use it as their community day services program. That's a vocational, educational, and recreational program for these adults with autism. I think they really liked the shop that was there. In fact, there's quite a bit of land. I mean, the vocational part is quite, there's already, what they needed in that building, so. So it is proceeding with the attorneys. The buyer has 45 days to do their due diligence, which means inspections, environmental surveys, and engineering studies, zoning reports, and anything else they might need to do. The attorney's been getting the title insurance that he's working on in a little detail when the Wheeling Township trustees dissolved and the property went to the Board of Education, make sure that's in there correctly, but other than that, it seems to be going fine. And then, the closing needs to be within 65 days of acceptance of the contract, and the contract was accepted on August 1st.
You don't think there's anything that's going to?
Not that we have heard of yet.
Good. All right, any questions on that for Dr. Schuster? Nice job, thank you. Facility, yeah.
I can add a quick comment.
Please do.
They're really excited about the building. They're like, the odds of that group happening to come in and take a look at that building, everything's perfect for what they do. And they're real excited to keep bringing every single employee through. I mean, daily, we're giving them access, so they're looking around and they're getting more and more excited. So we're trying to keep them excited for at least 60 days. And it's working, so
Good.
I'm real excited about it.
Dan's been doing a good job there. He actually showed him around the property too, so he's our
Nice.
salesman.
There we go. Irate in the hole.
We're very fortunate.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, it seemed to work out really well.
Everything falling into place,
Yeah.
that's nice. All right, facility projects update.
So you wanna put the pictures up, Patty, and I'll
I'll
just
have
talk
to go
to them?
one at a time because it's just how they came about.
Okay.
So,
Okay, so, they are, the middle school parking lot, the construction is really pushing towards the finish line. All the concrete curbs and pavements, is all complete. They did the concrete finished up the concrete yesterday.
I was there yesterday, they did not have those bricks in the front.
No.
No, they did not.
They had it on the truck.
Okay, but they did all that in one day though.
Yeah.
It's amazing what they do when the.
I'd say if you're willing to throw a percentage out, I'd say they're probably at least 98% done or 99% done with the overall scope of the work. They're
So-
just, yeah, they're done almost.
Yeah, the south entrance and the west parking lot, they're in use already as of Monday, they're totally done. The north entrance and the bus lane is completed now. So the buses will be able to get in tomorrow, we'll have 5 buses in front, 5 buses in the back. The east parking lot, when I went by at 4:30, it looked like it was at least 2/3 done. As far as laying it, and then they have one guy that comes around and puts it in next to the curbs, the pieces that they have to fill in.
It'll be striped too?
It won't be striped.
Okay.
Striping.
It will
yeah,
eventually.
Eventually,
Right.
I think striping maybe,
Hopefully this weekend.
yeah.
Okay.
Also, there's a little asphalt that needs to go in the back, and asphalt's actually the hardest contractor to get. They will either do it after school or on a Saturday, and it's got gravel in it, it's perfectly drivable. So all the storm sewer work, is complete in the parking lot and drive areas, but there was an unforeseen condition, and the final storm sewer, which is the one next to the, softball field. You'll see that's still open, so they're doing all of those connections. They think it'll take about two days for those 2 connections per connection, so probably like Monday of next week.
It's right next to the backside.
Yeah,
Right.
right by the backside there.
That won't limit the use of the lot. Once the lot's done, we can open the lot.
Yeah. And then once that's done, then they'll finish up with the landscaping. They couldn't really do it before because if you looked in those areas, it's a little wet. So they need to finish off that storm sewer connections to do that. So we,
I'll
yeah.
just throw a comment out here as a senior board member. This is probably the 3rd time that we are working on that sewer with the water department and the sewer gods or whoever
Yeah.
has anything to do. It's very interesting how we never can get that thing fixed.
Well, hopefully this will do it. So we have made plans because that front parking lot, the east parking lot isn't totally done yet. We have alternate plans for the pickup and drop off for the students over at the church. Dan and I talked to the church. They're quite happy to help us out. If you know anybody there, see anybody, make sure you thank them because they have been wonderful. We've been using their parking lot all summer and they are going to allow us to, you see those green arrows, wander through their parking lot with pickup and drop off for at least the next 3 days. I mean, they may be done before Friday, but we thought we'd just make the change again on Monday.
And the Mount Prospect Police Department has agreed that they're gonna help us, with the exit out onto Wolf Road, which is really generous of them.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Just these 3 days or for the school year?
For the 3 days.
We're asking.
They used to do grassy guns.
How is it different? I mean, I guess,
So let's, pretty much the update.
Any other questions?
Any questions?
Okay, nice job.
Okay.
Take a breather. Matt,
Oh,
you
yeah,
are
Matt gets to go next.
Video security surveillance system proposal. This is an action item for us.
So as you're aware, we were awarded the COPS Department of Justice 2021 security grant to improve our security on school grounds. And as part of this grant, we're recommending that we purchase and install interior and exterior access IP security cameras and a server at the middle school, as well as at Prairie Trails and the Admin Center. We're also recommending the purchase and install of additional door controls at the middle school and at Indian Grove. So currently, we have an existing access security surveillance system that we're going to be adding to. So our current system includes, at the middle school, we have a network video recorder, we have a video encoder, which helps with the older analog cameras. We have 4 exterior analog cameras, and then we had installed recently 4 interior digital cameras, and so those are newer. At Prairie Trails and the Admin Center and the warehouse, we have 4 exterior digital cameras that are newer. So as part of this project, we are looking to add 11 interior digital cameras at the middle school, 10 exterior digital cameras, 1 server, and then 3 additional door controllers. At the Prairie Trails Admin Center and warehouse, we're going to be adding 7 additional exterior digital cameras, 5 interior digital cameras, and then to Indian Grove, we're going to be adding 2 door controllers on doors that don't currently have access to them. So we did issue a request for proposal, and we did receive 2 proposals, one from eNorman and one from CPS, Connecting, Protecting, and Securing. The quoted cost for the equipment and installation were both included in the board memo. So we are recommending that we move forward with eNorman in the amount of $110,239.05 based off the cost, so it was a better cost, the availability of the materials, which is hard to come by, and the fact that they had installed and are currently supporting our existing system. So we're still would be working with one vendor, and we do work with them pretty closely, especially as we're adding more cameras. I do have a member of my staff who used to work for the security surveillance system, and he's a really great asset to us, but there are times that we do have to call eNorman in to replace and look at some of those cameras, and they do a really good job, so we have a good relationship. The purchase would be included in the FY23 capital project grant expenditures. And then just to add to that, we are looking to increase our security surveillance systems at Euclid and Indian Grove, but we're looking to do that, and it's going to be rolled into the overall infrastructure projects, and Lyndall can maybe speak to some of that, if you have a question.
He said it well. So,
Any
unless you have a question.
Can you just for the record, can you just cover how much the grant covers for?
So the grant would provide, so with the grant for the video surveillance, I believe we're going to be covering up to $224,750. And that would include what we're covering now as well as what we're looking to cover in the future. And then for the door controllers, it would cover up to $28,000.
But the grant itself covers $478,000.
The grant covers, yes. Yeah,
Yes.
the grant covers 75% of our expenditures. It actually covered our phone service, which we had originally been planning to pay for ourselves. So in a way, all of these cameras and everything else are free because now we're getting 75% of that phone service paid for.
Sure.
And that was an expensive.
I know that that's in the board book, but anybody who might
Yeah,
be watching
yes.
right,
doesn't.
yes.
Yeah, so I just want to state that.
Yes.
So I know at 214, security is huge right now, and at the break, I happened to talk to Greg Stolzer, who works in the Downers Grove District, and at their kickoff meeting, they made it perfectly clear to all the staff members that, you know, they have the wherewithal to track anybody who thinks they're smart enough to, you know, prop open a door, and they'll be dealt with in a very serious way. So my question for you is, do we have anything within our system that if some staff member, for whatever reason, props open a door, would we know that was happening? And
Currently, with any of our door controls, there aren't alarms, Dan, correct? No. So there aren't any within those.
so we don't have anything that can prevent that?
No, it's not automated in that fashion, no.
Okay.
So if you were to be policing the building and find a door that had a rock in it or propped open, you could review the footage and you could identify the person that did it.
Okay.
However,
Or
it isn't automated to the point where if I went over there and propped that door and it was not closed all the way, you'd be dispatching people or
Okay.
sounding alarms.
Yeah, that, they have that in Downers Grove where if something did get propped open, it would notify, somehow through the security system, it would notify them, and they would be able to find out where that was and make sure it was rectified.
I just thought of this, but is there any integration with the police department in terms of them being able to get access quickly to the system in case there were a breach or an incident?
Nothing currently, but that's definitely something that we can consider as we implement this new security system.
What about keys? Because that's another thing that Greg mentioned. Does the police department have keys to our buildings?
Yes.
They do, they have fobs, yeah.
Yeah.
And they do make rounds regularly. I just talked to the police chief a couple weeks ago, and they do make rounds regularly to check the keys and make sure that they know which key works on which door.
Yeah, I definitely think everyone's, heightened with the security, and I think this would definitely put us in a better position. I know that Christy presented to the staff about our security in the schools, and we're doing everything we can to make sure that everyone's safe. So I think this would put us in a better position in that regard.
Did you have any, what's your thoughts on the actual cameras?
So,
Because they're pretty pricey
they are,
per
yeah.
unit, and they're only HD.
Yeah, I mean, overall, we're happy. We have a few of them at the middle school now. They're 360 degrees. They provide really good clarity as well as the ability to be able to see quite a bit.
So they're like eyeball cameras?
Yeah,
Okay.
and we put larger screens in all the offices so that our office staff would be able to see all of the cameras and toggle through. So I do think they're quality cameras. Like I mentioned, a member of my staff used to work in the industry, and this, after looking at all of the quotes, he definitely recommended this. So
Do we look at some other camera brands? Because the quotes are apples to apples from a brand
Sure.
perspective, but there's
Yeah.
quite a few options out there, and these are, they're definitely commercial grade, appropriate. They got a lot of nice features, but they're expensive.
yeah, I think sticking with one brand, especially if we're sticking with Access, and that's what we currently have, they're easier to support, easier over time to maintain, rather than adding different brands of cameras throughout the school. So,
We also did a survey, the business managers were doing a survey, and Access was pretty much what everybody was using.
And then do you foresee having enough funds left on the grant to do what you want to do with the rest of the buildings with the screen?
I believe so.
Yes, the amount that was for these cameras was right about
It was
where
about,
we
right about
had
half, I saw,
budgeted,
but I
yeah.
didn't know if you
Right,
had.
right about where we had budgeted for those.
And that does include removing the analog cameras that we have and all the wiring and rewiring everything as well.
I'd really be interested in the police integration component, just if there were an incident for them to be able to quickly get eyeballs inside the school
Sure.
if necessary.
Yep, definitely something we can
That's something we can look into.
Yep.
Yeah, that's available.
Yes, ma'am.
Lyndall's been around as long as I have, and maybe Frank will remember this too. Don't we have a crisis plan
Yes,
with the
Okay.
police department?
yes.
That if anything happens, we push a button in the room and they know exactly what room the incident is happening in and what door to come through?
As part of our telephone system.
Yeah.
But part of what I'm saying is if that,
I
we haven't
understand
had
that.
this good of a system
Yes.
in the schools. So
Okay.
if there were an incident as part of the crisis plan, they could bring up access to the cameras so that they can start planning on entering the building instead of.
They're-
Oh, okay,
So, I think more eyes into the room versus
Got it.
the alert.
got it.
But our phone systems that we purchased last year do have the E911, so anyone that calls, it alerts them to where the location is.
But it would
And-
be interesting
and
what you
also
said
we
about
have
the
panic.
alarms.
We have panic buttons in all of the front offices.
The one here works well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way.
And we have a security system too, that if if the security system is turned on, which it is at nighttime, it goes to the police. Because we've had the police come, because alarm has been set off from that, so we do have that.
With these doors, with the alarm thing with the doors, like, could it flag us that a door is open for an extended period of time?
No, it says, Dan Darrow said that.
Well, our current system doesn't do that. I mean, that technology could be done with something as old as like your magnet technology. I mean, if you break the magnet and you trip a timer and you say, well, it's open for too long.
Well, it's
you
a
could
door
be-
strike, right? I mean, these are door strikes, right?
Yeah,
Correct.
that's all we're doing right now is door strikes.
Okay, so is there like a control panel or something we can see what doors are ajar?
Not currently.
No, because we're not tracking if the door's ajar. Once you open it, if we don't know if it closed, you'd have to have something.
Does Access have something that can do that? Because I just wanna make sure if we're adding, like, that's a really good suggestion that Frank had, like, if there's a door that's propped open, we wanna know about that.
We
Yeah.
can look into that.
The majority of this system is focused on the video surveillance. We are adding extra door controllers, but not very many. So I mean, we can definitely look into upgrading
Yeah,
what we
see what it
currently
would
have in that
take to
regard.
know if the door was open. We can take a look at that.
I just wanna caution that, as an example, tonight when I left where I work, as I was walking out, and it's a fob door, as I was walking out, I met two people that I haven't seen in a couple months, and I stood with my back up against the door, propped open, and we stood there and talked for half an hour. So the door was open, but not by a rock, by me standing there talking, by
I
the
know,
three of
but
us
it's still,
standing there, so.
but it's still important, I think, you know, unfortunately in this day and age, if that door is open and it's during school hours and it's supposed to be closed, we should know about that, regardless of what's happening. So if somebody can then look at a camera and say whatever, or if it's during the day, the administrator might wanna go over and say that door needs to be closed.
We can look into, see what we could do,
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, we'll come down and talk.
Good idea.
and find out how much it would cost.
Sorry, I don't wanna have to think about these things, but we.
Yeah.
No, great idea.
And not that I wanna like get too deep into it, but not propping doors and not letting people in are the two main basic things that we hit over and over and over. And even like, we just had a training with custodians and lunch people about deliveries and making rounds during the day. So, you know, if something like that was to happen, we should have an extra layer of people making rounds, checking doors, making sure they're locked, so. But those are the two things that are never, you do in a school. And that's, I mean, that was on opening day, that's, when we practice safety. So, again, not that I just wanna get too deep into it, but just so you know, those are the things that we hit all the time with the staff.
And I will just throw out, when I go to pick my grandson up from high school, and I sit in the parking lot, and he has early dismissal, and the rest of the kids are coming back from lunch, there's one door that a buddy stands at, has it open, and the kids are all going through that door, they're running through the parking lot to get to that door instead of going through the door they're supposed to go through. So, you're right, you know, that's the two things, propping it open and somebody letting them in.
All right, any other questions for? Okay, nice job. Can I get a motion and a second to award the video security surveillance system proposal to E. Norman at a cost not to exceed $110,239.05, which covers the cost of equipment and its installation. Moved by Fiorito, second by Ronstadt. Any comments or questions before we take roll? Okay.
Okay, Grimpy,
Yes.
Camardo,
Yes.
Ronstadt,
Yes.
Friedland,
Yes.
Johnson, yes, and Fiorito.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, truck purchase.
Okay. We bought a new truck last year, which Dan has been driving around. We're kind of planning on the truck a year. The next one is a 2009 pickup that has 146,000 miles on it. It's had quite a few reliability and service issues. So we have a recommendation to replace it with a F-250 4x4 pickup truck with a snowplow and bedliner for $50,960. And we did budget for that, and Dan will also sell the old truck to CarMax and hopefully get some money back for it. We get more money from that than just trading it in, and we use the state purchasing cooperative for this bid.
Have we thought about going with a different brand, other than Ford's?
Ford is the brand. First, I think they're very reliable trucks. They're good trucks, but they also are the ones that offer the government contract and pricing.
Okay, got it.
And you don't see, most of the municipalities and schools that you'll see Fords because GM and Chevy, they're not offering the same type of programs.
Got it.
So that's why if you look at Mount Prospect, River Trails,
Yeah.
Fish Plains, anywhere you go, you're gonna see the Ford because of their agreement with municipal.
Got it.
Good
Great.
question.
Nice to know, I
Good
never knew
question.
that.
How does our discount work with the market adjustment business stuff that's going on? are we actually getting a good price here, or are we paying a market adjustment? 'Cause this is like the
Well,
worst time
it's
to
more
buy a vehicle.
expensive than, it was a couple years ago.
Yeah, I mean, we're paying a lot less than if you went and tried to buy the car at the dealership as a consumer, if that's the question.
Well, yeah,
But,
yes, I'm
yes,
wondering what,
I'm sure
I
that,
get, the question behind the question is, if we waited 6 months,
I don't think 6 months will help us. Unfortunately, I think this cycle is gonna go longer than 6 months. A year ago, we wanted to hold out and not get the last one that we bought, because we hoped we'd save, but we spent $15,000 in repair expenses, primarily on the older 2 pickup trucks in the 2021-22 budget year. I mean, we've been spending so much money on repairs, by the time the trucks get that old with
what the heck is
$150,000.
breaking on these things?
What's that?
What the heck is breaking on these things?
Well, you go right down to, no, you look like a catalytic converter, for example, is a good example. Today, a catalytic converter exhaust system on a pickup truck is gonna cost you over $2,000 to have replaced.
Still, I've never paid $5,000 a vehicle repairs.
You didn't know.
15,000. Yeah, well, another thing that you might consider is that, a truck that's used for plowing has a lot more wear and tear and abuse
Oh, I
than an
saw
average.
one out there, it's all rusted out, I assume
Yeah.
that's it.
That's the one, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
it's-
And it, like I say, 150,000, these are hard miles, this isn't take the truck down the highway miles, this is hard miles.
How many miles are on it?
146,000.
Just going back and forth in the parking lot.
Yeah. And, I don't think it goes backwards when you back up, or it'd be a zip, closer to 0.
All right,
It's a lot of miles. Well, it's also 13 years. I mean, we bought the truck, and actually, we bought it in 08 going into 09. And we're almost in 23, so it's been a long time. This will be, as the quick note indicates, we're not looking to replace any other trucks in the near future, so. We hope to get a good life cycle.
It's not
on
an
it.
Escalade, so.
Yeah.
All right, can I get a motion and a second to approve the state contract bid price for Morrow Brothers Ford to purchase one fleet model F-250 4x4 pickup truck with a snowplow and bed liner not to exceed $50,960 to replace the 2009 pickup truck. The funds for this purchase are budgeted and will come from the building and grounds budget. The 2009 truck will be sold to CarMax once the new truck arrives. So moved by Fiorito, second by Grimpy. Any comments or questions before we take roll?
Okay, Grimpy,
Yes.
Camardo,
Yes.
Rodstad,
Yes.
Friedland,
Yes.
Johnson, yes, and Fiorito.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, committee reports.
We have Operations Committee, we have our next meeting tentatively scheduled for September 14th at 6 p.m. But that will probably be predicated on what's happening with the candidates that we might be interviewing for the open board position. That's it.
Thank you. Mr. Ronstadt, you are our representative of NSSU.
Yeah, I'll say the biggest thing is with the new contract with the school union, we are approaching fully staffed.
Awesome.
Which is quite an accomplishment, given that they for years have been understaffed, especially in the 8 positions, but the adjustments that we cooperatively worked through with the union really seem like making a difference. And the administration is busting their hump. I think 70 plus new employees.
Wow. Okay, president's reports. We got a lot of events coming up. It's a good time of year. Just a minor detail, tomorrow is the first day of school for grades 1 through 8. And then Thursday is the first day of school for our kindergartners. And then Monday, the 22nd, will be the first day of school for our littlest chipmunks. And let's see, we've got the RTMS open house. We're gonna run through the volunteer spots since we lost Sue, just so that everybody's up to speed on this. So open house at RTMS will be at 7 p.m. and that's gonna be staffed by Donna and Frank. You guys are still good with that?
Yeah.
The Euclid open house, Frank, you're gonna manage that by yourself, if that's okay with you. The Indian Grove open house is on the 25th as well at 6 p.m. Donna and Robert, you guys are signed up for that one. The Prairie Trails open house is on the 31st at 6 p.m. and Janine and I will handle that one. Labor Day on September 5th, all schools and offices will be closed. Again, we will have our interviews on where did I write it down? On the 15th and then tentatively the 19th if needed. So that will be that week. The 14th is our tentative date for the Operations Committee meeting, and then we will see you all again on the 20th of September for our Board of Education meeting where we hopefully will seat our newest board member. That is our goal. Superintendent's report, Dr. Megley, you are up.
So, as Ms. Hudson said, Monday, that was yesterday, we had, we welcomed back all the staff. It was really great to see everyone, lots of energy, positive energy. It was fun, even watching the principals this morning do some team builder, energizing activities with their staff. So it looks like everyone's ready to go. We're ready for kids tomorrow. I hope for those of you who have kids in the system, I hope they have a great day tomorrow. It's gonna be fabulous. You know, we did kind of mention earlier that we did do a really brief overview of safety, security for the district, and I do have a couple of interns this year, so I'm excited. So Christy and Karen are really digging into safety and security, but we had a survey as a part of it, finishing part of that presentation, and so I feel like we got some really good feedback from our staff in terms of where they stand with their comfort of preparing, preventing, and we'll be able to use that to help continue teaching and making sure we're in a good place with that. Let's see, also, Triple I's coming up. So I just wanted to open the table for any feedback, suggestions. I know I had put it in a weekly update. Do you have a preference for dinner, early, late, Thursday, Friday, attendees? Because I need to get a reservation on the books, so last call.
When is, I'm coming down Thursday night after work, because
Okay.
I'll have early morning sessions on Friday.
Okay, so Thursday's
So
no
Thursday,
good.
I don't know if anybody else is gonna be down there Thursday night.
I will not be
Okay. But yeah, Thursday night will.
I think Frank is down here Thursday.
I wouldn't
And
go
I'm
on
down
Thursday.
here Thursday. Any preference? Any other preferences? As I said, I learned in my superintendent academy that I can't mess this up because boards are very used to following some of the same traditions year after year.
Well, we haven't done it in a while. Well, I mean, you guys did it
And I
last year, there was a
haven't.
small
I
group
was
that did it
only-
last year. But we as a board have not done it in so long.
I gotta tell you, last year's was probably the best I've been in 12 years. It was amazing. That was
Because we were there.
Patty was there, Linda was there, it was great.
What do you think, Frank? In the past, it's usually been a Friday night with the board. But before that, I'm going to say it used to be you could invite your spouses to come down, because they're usually, you're bringing your spouse with you or significant other. So they were always invited to come along too, not the children.
Yeah.
For the dinner?
Yes, it was dinner, right.
Does anyone have opinions either way?
I'm not bringing my spouse.
I'm not doing it.
Mine's not coming this year either, so.
She hates me. and
He
she's
said I've
so-
had enough, he said I've had enough of these
Lose-lose
conferences, so.
All right,
So you
Yeah,
just
my
wanna
camera.
do the board on Friday night and any admin usually that are around also?
Yep.
Is there any preference, early or late?
Well, isn't there a Friday,
there's a lot of,
there's a lot of hospitalities.
hospitalities on
Yeah.
Friday.
And those run auto, they run
They
the
run
gamut as far as
Yeah.
times go.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
you can hit.
Yeah,
we'll
if
make
we,
it
obviously,
too
if we do an
late.
early dinner, then you're gonna miss some, if you do it too late, you're gonna miss a late one.
Oh,
There's, you know,
sure.
there's,
Preferably, I don't like to eat at 8 o'clock at night.
I figure it would take us probably 2 hours to eat anyway, so
Yes.
we won't get it too late.
Yeah.
We'll go on the earlier side, but
Yeah, shoot for the earlier.
12:30.
not the blue light spectrum.
Right, exactly. Not the senior special at
Just
4.
Matt.
I didn't wanna say that, but.
Senior
Take a
special at
stand.
4.
All right, okay, thank you for that. And that's all I have.
You know, I should have brought this up during board communications, but I just wanna give kudos to the staff for the meet and greet. It was a great turnout, it was incredibly organized. I mean, obviously, it doesn't matter if nobody shows up, but we had a nice group of people who show up, we had 15 to 20 families.
Yeah, over 20, yep.
So it was great.
Yeah.
So just kudos again to you and your staff, nice job. Okay, we had a FOIA request, thank you, Mrs. Reyes, for handling that. Future topics, we're still kind of handling the board self-evaluation. Has a replacement pending
Nope.
yet? Okay, so it's
Yeah.
still just gonna be pending.
As soon as I hear, I'll let you guys know.
All right. And then, let's see. Yeah, the only feedback that we got on the calendar, was that it's pretty balanced and okay. I don't know if anybody else had any comments on it. I'm changing anything.
I like being able to see what's ahead.
You do like
Yeah.
Well, we do put that out it's published every May when we reorg.
I guess this is my first September on the board.
It does, I feel like ebb and flow, just depending on what's happening also.
The document was good. We do get sometimes a document, and sometimes you just gotta find it on the website. But
I
I
was
like
gonna
the
say, when you become a board member, if they give you the list of all of the phone numbers and everything and calendar.
Yep, we remembered everything we were taught.
Don't you tack it up somewhere in your house?
This
I know.
binders of
Whatever.
papers.
Oh, okay.
I mean, personally, I don't think it has to be so rigid. If something comes up that if we need to move something, I don't have any problem if something has to be moved outside of the budgets and the stuff that have to be, you know, so I mean, there is flexibility if you need to move something. I don't know if anybody disagrees with that, but feel free to exercise that. All right. And then, items for future consideration.
So, we did have a community engagement meeting that was set on the calendar for, I believe, September 6th. We pulled that off because we've had several opportunities for engagement. You all are gonna be at open houses, obviously, in the next couple of weeks. We had a parent meet and greet here, so we've had some opportunities for community engagement. So, I'm just trying to get some feedback or your thoughts on what is your vision for community engagement? My only experience here in the district is that we've had some of these dates set on the calendar, and then we're trying to figure out what topics or what makes sense for that date on the calendar. So I'm not sure if, you know, these nighttime meetings are kind of the way you would like to see community engagement go on, or if you would like for me to work with the team on like more authentic engagement activities like the open house or a meet and greet or something like that. And again, I don't know if you've had a lot of time to process through that, but I haven't been here when this was established, so just trying to get an idea of what the vision was, what's the why behind the or the community engagement meeting, so that I'm planning appropriately.
Well, if I may, if you guys don't mind, when we did the community engagement meetings before, it was for the goal of preparing the community for the future purchases of possibly a referendum.
Okay.
So it was kind of the way to ease the community into that, so it wasn't, so nobody could say you're springing it on us and everything. So we kind of did like the state of the district, and then that you know, Linville came up and talked about the buildings. We did a curriculum-based one. So we had 3 or 4 all centered around to kind of drive that point home with some of the changes we needed to make. So I think it all kind of depends on.
So that sounds like it was part of more of a referendum plan, communication
Correct.
plan. Okay.
Correct.
And then it's done.
Would you guys agree?
Well, that's what that was, but I think we started a community engagement because we were, the Illinois Association of School Boards was saying school districts need to be engaging their communities way before even doing a referendum
Sure.
thing.
No doubt.
So bring the people in, take the band, take the band to Rob Roy at 2:00 in the afternoon, before they have their 4:00 dinners and go to bed at 6. And a lot of them can't drive or don't drive, so, take our I'm gonna call dog and pony show on the road to places and just find out what they've got in mind, what, you know, what's going on. I think maybe after the open houses, we may hear something that may be, oh, there are a couple people who were interested in X, so let's see, let's open it up to the community and see. You know, a lot of other school boards have community finance committees where they have people from the community being part of a finance overview or advisory board or advisory committee, I'll call it. That might be something that we might start looking into to get people on board. But
One thing that I think I've gotten out of our meetings is I think the community really thinks it's gonna be a town hall question and answer session
for what?
for anything, for us to be up there.
Oh, sure,
you know,
yeah, that's what they like.
And we've not done one, at least
Right.
while I've been on the board. So
Correct, I
don't
agree
know-
with you.
I don't know how those, if we've done one in the past, or how successful or unsuccessful they've been. And is that
You-
something, I mean, the problem is obviously it's a firing squad, and you gotta be prepared for any questions.
And you have to be, the board, we've done that in the past, but you have to also be prepared to be there from, if you do it in the evening. I've been in ones where we start at 6 and you're there till 1 in the morning, okay? If that's a topic that they're interested in,
Sure.
okay? Otherwise, you start at 7 and they go till 10. Because they're there, they're coming to ask their questions, and yes, they want you to answer it. And if you're going to make it the town hall, then somebody has to be the spokesperson within the topic. So one person may be asking about finances, and so then Linda will probably be the person to handle
Sure.
all of that.
Sure.
But then what happens is somebody in the audience who may not have come to talk about finances says, oh yeah, let me piggyback on that, okay? And you have to allow the people to talk more than once.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
that person who thought about finance.
Right, the rules for
probably-
visitors' comments are kind of out the window.
Right, they probably came to talk about safety.
Yeah, but we can also put some rails around it and say it's scheduled from this time to this time.
You can, but if you've got a lot of people there, they're mad because they took the time to be there and gave up their evening. And they have a spouse at home that just put the kids to bed while they can, you have to be accommodating. You have to really open yourself up to that. And I have been through like 3 or 4 of those.
And I don't know that that's not the directive I'm necessarily
Yeah.
giving, it's
Yeah.
just an option, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
And this is Janine, so I just wanna say, like, I feel like a lot of times when we were using our community engagement meetings in the past, like, 2 years, it's been for topics that came up that we did need feedback on. So I feel like a lot of it is just playing it by ear, like, changing the school start times. Like, we wanted parent feedback and we wanted information and things like that. So whereas I think like the town halls are a good idea, is there ever a time that we can already utilize like some of the assets that we have, like our PTCs, and just ask for them if there are any topics that they would be interested, like the parents that join those? Because sometimes I think parents are inundated with emails and meetings and, you know, kids events and everything else. And I know that Donna, I mean, well, not just Donna, but I know that there are obviously members in our community who wanna speak who don't have kids in school. So we, you know, have to think outside the box to get in touch with them, like you were saying. But if we could utilize some of the groups that we already have to generate ideas of interest, you know, that are already with our parents, that maybe we just don't have a forum for that idea exchange.
Thanks, Janine.
any other comments?
I just wanna put in the plug for the community that doesn't have kids in the schools. And most of those people are retired and are home during the day. So taking our program or our ideas have to come out during the day.
It'd be hard to get the students though because I wouldn't wanna take them out of class, but we can certainly, if Jody was
No,
so two members
I
can
just
go.
threw that out as an idea.
Oh, I gotcha,
Yeah,
okay.
I just threw it out as, it doesn't have to be. You know, it would be
It's
the.
a nice idea.
Yeah,
but,
it would
you
be the admin and whoever on the board wants to sit and kinda like, a Saturday coffee with council with Mount Prospect, you know?
Sure.
Go sit in the clubhouse at Rob Roy, or go sit in the, community room at some of the, not nursing homes, but senior housing centers we got. We got 2 new senior housing centers. We need to get in there and talk to those people, because they're paying taxes. We need to sit with the Randhurst people, the business guys, in Kensington. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, visitors' comments, our second session of visitors' comments. Again, we'd like to recognize any members of the audience who approach the board with their comment or question by completing a visitor comment card. Please do note that the board and administration typically does not respond, and if you're wishing for a response, please provide your name and number or email address for a member of the board or administration to get back to you. Speakers are encouraged to limit their time for others to participate, a 5-minute time limit per speaker with 20-minute minimum length on one topic and overall 30-minute minimum for visitor comments. At this time, or at that time, the board can remove all further comments. Well, this is a second session. So, would anyone like to make a visitor comment?
I would.
Have you filled out the card?
I just put my name, somebody told me just to put my name on there, I don't know if there was
If
a
you can
card.
fill out before you leave.
Okay, just show me what that is, I'll be happy to do that.
Sure.
Okay, my name is Mick Gasso and I represent Illinois Family Institute, and I'm here regarding a particular issue. I tried to reach your assistant superintendent of curriculum yesterday, no response, I didn't get a call back today, so I'm here to ask you the question if I may. Because based on the information I have, this school board has agreed to go with the comprehensive sex education in Senate Bill 818. Is that correct?
Not entirely.
Not entirely. What
No,
aspect
well,
of that have you
Mrs.
agreed to? What
Seifert-
aspect have you not agreed to?
Mrs. Seifert can cover that with you. She's the assistant superintendent of curriculum.
I think that's who I left a message for you yesterday, ma'am.
Yes, and I can give you a call tomorrow.
So I'm here because I'd like to know, because I prepared some stuff, because I see how poorly this district is doing academically, and then you're going ahead and indoctrinating our children with comprehensive sex education, which to me is appalling. And if I could, I'd like to read what I prepared.
Sure, you have 3 minutes. Sure, absolutely.
Go ahead. I'm happy to do that. Again, just fully for the record, my name is Michael Gasso. I am the Northwest Regional Director of Illinois Family Institute. My friends call me Mick. I am here representing Illinois Family Institute, which is a faith-based organization that is pro-life, pro-marriage, that is marriage between one man and one woman. I'm also here as someone who cares deeply about students in state-run schools. I feel I can speak with some authority as I was a public school teacher at Barrington High School. I resigned from there 1 year ago this week. As a Christian, I could not subject myself to what I saw on the horizon with comprehensive sex education in Senate Bill 818, where children as young as kindergartners would be subjected to the filthy lies and the mind-altering agenda of the state. And if there's parents listening to this, whether you're a Christian or not, everyone should be up in arms over what they're doing in school districts like School District 26. Parents, do you know what's in comprehensive sex ed? From kindergarten through 2nd grade, you'll be taught about same-sex couples and to define gender identity, while kids ages to 11 will be taught to define masturbation, homosexuality, use of hormone blockers for children who pretend to be a different sex, while kids 11 to 13 will be taught about anal and oral sex, contraceptive methods without a prescription. Anybody on the school board who voted for that should resign, because you don't really care about kids that you say you do. You really don't respect them. And parents, you need to act up. So if you're listening and watching online, you need to do something. I'm actually saddened by the number of people that aren't here. Many of the school board meetings that I attend, we have people in overflow rooms, but not here, unfortunately. Parents, you need to see many options that are available. Even though the school is beginning now, there are still great opportunities to get your kids out of these poorly run schools. For example, just in the Euclid Elementary School for 2021, based on the Illinois report card, which was the most recent data available, only 30% of students met proficiency levels, and not 1% exceeded proficiency levels. For math, 29% met proficiency levels, while only 2% exceeded proficiency levels. And you spent a whopping $16,000 per student. They are failing. This district is failing students academically, and they are failing them with all the other things going on by the garbage of Senate Bill 818. Parents, these are your children. They're not children of the state. They are not children of this district. You need to get your children out of public schools now. At Illinois Family Institute, I represent the public school exit program, which is growing like leaps and bounds. My colleagues are down in Decatur tonight, where there are going to be over 100 people there talking about getting their children out. I talked to a pastor in Palatine today. And again, whether it's Christian-based or not, you need to look at recommendations to get your kids out, whether they are micro schools, homeschool co-ops, half-price schools, or private schools, among others. There are many affordable and they are affordable, and they are academically superior to what's going on in the public school system. There's a school called Classical Consortium Academy that's opening up their second campus in Winnetka Bible Chapel. Winnetka, New Trier, the schools that are supposed to be the most prestigious. Their parents are saying enough is enough. We don't want our kids subjected to this garbage, that it's in comprehensive sex education and Senate Bill 818. For those of you that are listening, you can contact me. Again, it's Mick Gasso at Illinois Family Institute. I live in the northwest suburbs. Our office is in Tinley Park. You can find our website, and you will find very informative articles about what is going on in schools. As our field director, Reverend Caesar LaFleur, always says, if a school building was on fire, parents and grandparents would do anything to rescue their children. Ladies and gentlemen, those of you in this room, and those of you that are listening, there are only two genders.
Sir, you
Sir,
gotta
you're
address the board.
addressing the board, not the parents.
Okay. Well, I'm speaking to the parents and you too.
Well,
that's not
no,
the
you're
parents.
not, you're talking to the parents.
Well, parents need to know this,
You're addressing the
ma'am.
board talking.
Okay, I'll address you then. Ladies and gentlemen, and yes, there are only two genders. In a manner of speaking, the school building is on fire, like Reverend LaFleur says. You need to save your children, and you need to get them out of public schools now. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Thank you.
All right, board meeting recap. Pretty good meeting. Sounds like everybody is excited about the new school year, as am I. Excited to see where everyone takes us. And with no further business to the board, I will entertain, we will not have a closed session this evening. So with no further business to come before the board, I'll entertain a motion in a second to adjourn the meeting at 8:37 PM. Moved by Fiorito. Second. Second by Camardo.
Okay, Ronstadt,
Yes.
Fiorito,
Yes.
Camardo,
Yes.
Johnson, yes. Grimpy
Yes.
and Freeland.
Yes.
And our next regularly scheduled meeting is September 20th. So we will see you guys for interviews.